How's it going, Bill?
Good. Thanks for having me, Will.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to have you. I imagine most of the folks that watch this channel already know who you are, but for the handful that don't, can you tell us who you are and a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I am Bill Harvat. I am the writer, designer, layout artist, marketer, whatever, all the things
Uh huh.
except for the art. I have artists and editors, and my editors keep me in check. But yeah, for Crawl Club Publishing, and yeah, I'm most of it besides the art and the editing. So there you go.
Yeah, and would you say you're best known for your work on the Righteous Vow zines?
Yes, absolutely. We're on volume 3 and did volume 1 and 2. Those went well, and we're gonna branch off of that a little bit and do some dark space stuff and some sci-fi stuff, and then other sword and sorcery stuff down the road. But yeah, right now we've just been trying to stay in our lane and make some cool books. The Righteous Vow series has been a lot of fun so far, but yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I'm a big fan of Righteous Vow. Um, I am curious to know because I know you're working on three right now. I was wondering if you could give us just a kind of quick overview of what Righteous Vow 3 is, and like where you guys are kind of at in the process.
Absolutely. Righteous Vow 3 is a new 176 page adventure now. It
Massive.
was it was originally going to be 140 pages.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah, massive is definitely the a good descriptor for it. We are working on getting the final touches put onto it. The In fact, layout is like we're doing some layout tweaks. All the editing is done. Everything's written, everything's put together. In fact, we've got to get the final tweaks done by September 15th, because then we're going to start submitting files for production, because we've already got hardbacks ordered and soft covers ordered. And yeah, so we're in go mode right now, because we've got to get this all done,
That's awesome.
because they're going to start printing them. But yeah, one of the other adventures, Nazulgrath, that we're going to talk about, that's already we might make a little tweak here or there, but it's 99.999% done. But yeah, Righteous Vow Volume 3, we're really excited about it. It is a sword and sorcery adventure set in the two kingdoms. The two kingdoms are the dwarves of Myth, and in the Myth Mountains. Myth because there's a certain metal in there called mithril,
Never heard of it.
mine,
Surely you mean
you know.
Mithril. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a little tropey,
Uh-huh. I
but
love it.
or a lot tropey, but that we're leaning into it and having fun with it. And then in the eastern side of the two kingdoms, you've got the dwarf kingdom, but then you've also got the paladin kingdom of Doxum, and they are just a bunch of holy warriors, and just a huge society, and several castles and cities and towns and villages and farms. Then to the southeast of that, you have the cultists, who are and the Knights of the Brood, which are a bunch of paladins that turn to the dark side, as it were. So a bunch of dark paladins, and the Knights of the Brood, they worship this dragon that lives in the mountain
Hmm.
by the name of Ghost. And Ghost is our he's our big bad for this adventure. And
Awesome.
yeah, you gotta have some dragons in your Dungeons and Dragons or your Shadowdark, right?
I agree.
So yeah, so we did volume 1, which was like our early adventure,
Hmm.
like levels 1 through 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there. And then
Yeah.
you've got your level 4 to 6-ish adventure for volume 2, and then now we're doing like levels 5 through 8 and on up with this adventure. So it's going to be a little more experienced adventurers
Hmm.
wandering into this giant sandbox, because that's exactly what it is. it's
Yeah.
it's just a giant sandbox. You can do things however, in whatever order you want. You can skip things entirely. There's certain parts of the map you may never even get to, but it's all there, and there is a lot of content. So I
Yeah, that's
hope you guys
awesome.
ready to adventure. There you go.
I love, you mentioned earlier it's a little bit tropey, but I love my tropes, and I feel like that's what
Yeah.
fantasy really is, at least to me.
Oh yeah.
So I love seeing barely veiled source material. I love your dwarves of myth. I'm a big fan of paladins in general, and like you, I 100% agree that you definitely need we need more dragons in our Dungeons and Dragons in the adjacent games. So I'm really excited about this one in particular. The Righteous Vow Volume 1 was my favorite so far. But I love Dwarves and Knights so much. I think this one's probably going to supplant that one as my new favorite. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, we're excited to share it with everybody. We've been working so hard on it, and we just want to make sure that we deliver on
Yeah.
the promise of making something that's worthwhile, that people will love, and that everybody will just say, "Hey, wow, this is great. I feel like I got my money's worth, or hopefully more than my money's worth."
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, that makes a lot of sense to me. The grind is definitely real. You guys have been putting out a lot of content.
mhm.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you guys also do some. You mentioned down the line you're gonna do some. I think you said dark space and things. You some more swords and sorcery related stuff. So maybe we can talk a
Oh
little bit
yeah,
more about that at the end of our at the end of the video today.
absolutely.
Yeah, but for now, do you want to launch into this new Nazulgrath adventure, which I believe this is an
Yeah.
exclusive first look preview here on the
Yes.
Runeforged channel?
Yes, it is. And this is the very first time, the very first time anyone is going to see this. And this is the Nazulgrath adventure. And this is how this came to be is we already had over 170 pages of adventure in the main book.
Yeah.
And this particular storyline that I wanted to visit, or this adventure, just kept bothering me that this didn't make it in the final version,
Uh huh.
just because I had so many ideas all over the place. We already have, orcs that are invading the dwarven lands. We've got the cultists that are, raiding the farms and villages of the paladins of Doxum, and then we've got all these different enemies. There's undead that are living up in some ruins to the north.
Hmm.
So we've got all these different enemies and adventures to go on, and there's also, I wanted to explore the Dwergar just because I'm such a huge fan of Dwergar.
Hmm.
And I had this storyline put together that involved the dwarves of myth and these Dwergar that live underneath the mountains. And I didn't quite get to it, and I really wanted it to be there. So I was like, you know what? If we hit this, there's no way that we're going to get anywhere close to this or that or the other stretch goal. And sure enough, the Shadowdark community absolutely blew past my expectations. And so I was like, all right, I guess we're going to work on this too.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, that's exactly what stretch goals are for. So I'm excited to hear this made it in the final cut.
yeah, absolutely. And we've got a bunch of new art in here, and that's going to be
Yes.
throughout everything that we do for Crawl Club Publishing and with Righteous Vow. We're always going to use real artists, and we're going to have exclusive art that is drawn just for these zines, which is a lot of fun. This is actually Mazrak did this art, and he put this together, and I just thought it was kind of a fun underground sword and sorcery looking. I don't even know what he's doing. He's dipping his hands in some stuff, and there we go. And he's got treasure behind him, so that's always good. But
Makes
I just
sense.
love
Yeah.
this art piece. Thought it'd be fun to use that for the cover. It seems to fit the underground theme. But then, yeah, it is a Righteous Vow adventure. This is an expansion that is totally optional. You don't even have to go here if you don't want to. You can just go with the main book. But if you want to go underground, underneath the mountain, this is your chance.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to
So,
go under the mountain in a dwarf adventure? I feel like that's kind of missing the point.
right?
You know? Yeah.
Absolutely. So, not to give too much of the story away, but here is, and this is kind of a point crawl that is a
Awesome.
part of this. And you've got the mines underneath the Mount Grudge Top there, and the dwarven castle city of Moraine, and then underneath you've got all of the mines. Then you've got the caverns below the mines, and then you get to the Shadowdark underneath that, where the Dwergar are, where they're living or existing. And
Very
there's
cool.
other stuff down there, but you can see we've got some mushroom forests down here, and plenty of waterfalls and pools, and yeah. And then eventually you might find where the Dwergar are at. But I mean, it's kind of obvious on the map. But
This is a
there
really
you go.
awesome. This is a really awesome map. Do you mind if I ask who made this?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, this was Dwayne Rogers, and he's
Nice.
doing a lot of really awesome map work for us.
Cool.
And I was doing a lot of the maps for the last couple of Righteous Vow installments in Incarnate, and then also in
Yeah.
Dungeon Draft. And I really love those programs, but Dwayne is just such a talented guy that I have kind of relied on him to do some more of the map stuff for me, because he's just excellent at it, and it turns out great. So I just keep asking him to do it.
Yeah, I like this quite a
And
bit.
yeah, yeah, so that'll be kind of a fun thing to explore. And then we've got our rumors and encounters
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
what's going on in there. We're not going to go too in depth on things. There is a storyline about what's going on with Nazulgrath and the Dwergar underneath the mountain.
Okay.
You got your contents, some more art, and then there's, the overview of the adventure and kind of the story of why you're going down here. And that's just 2 pages. As I've always said, if you can't figure out what you're doing in an adventure in 4 pages or less, then there's a problem there.
Yeah,
You've got to be
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
summarize it. So with this shorter adventure, I got it down to 2 pages. Then you've got the key of all of the areas in that map that you saw above, and what you can do to explore that. Got several areas to go check out. Some more art.
Oh yeah, it looks
Here's
great.
another piece by Mazrak. Just really great art in here. Like I always say, even if you don't like the adventure, the art is worth the price of admission. So, and then we got some new monsters to look at.
Yep.
And some more art. This is Andrew Beckwith right here,
Awesome.
and that's a dark orc right there. And then we've got some new dark orcs and a new creature called an Odomok,
All right.
which
What's an
is
Odomok? Yeah.
it's that thing right there.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I love the face on that. It almost kind of gives like a bat like vibe too. It's like a
Yeah,
bat lizard kind of. I like that quite a bit actually. Yeah, cool.
yeah. So you've got the dark orcs, and then you've got the Odomok, and the Odomok is kind of a leaping lizard-like beast. And it's very muscular. So it's basically kind of, if you watched Ghostbusters, it's kind of
Yeah.
the lizard version of those things.
Yeah. I did think I
That's
thought it looked
kind
familiar. That's cool.
of that's kind of what I think of them as anyway. But yeah, just think of Ghostbusters, then think of an orc version of that with spikes on its back and a killer tail.
Very cool.
I love that art too. Mazrak did a fantastic job on that.
Yeah, these are all
Looks
gorgeous.
fantastic. Then Dwayne with some Dwergar. I love this piece with the door.
Yep.
Um, and we got some new Dwergar.
Oh yeah, this is awesome.
So these are kind of like the Dwergar in the Shadowdark rulebook are awesome, but these are kind of like the higher level Dwergar.
Yes.
Like when you need to fight something that's not level 2 or 3. So
100%. Yep.
so these are the next step up. We got a Mountain Dwergar, Dwergar Assassin, the Dwergar King himself. Some great art by Uriah Groves there as well.
Yep.
And then here's a little spoiler for you.
Ooh. Yeah, it looks like a purple worm.
uh, Might be big
Maybe
perm,
a little
purple
bit.
worm. But
That's very
there's some
cool.
Dwayne Rogers art. And yeah, we're gonna talk about Verm School. He's a big bad. I'm just giving everything away on this adventure, but
That's fine. That's what this is for. Yeah.
yeah, hopefully nobody that's gonna play this is no. There's still plenty to figure out.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit of spoilers here.
What is this
And
mushroom man down here?
yeah, that's a mush man or a mushman. And they're just little guys in the mushroom forest, kind of a fun little monster slash NPC to
Uh-huh.
meet.
Oh, I
And
love
then
this dwarf on this piece of art right here. It's very old school. I love that.
oh yeah, yeah, that's Uriah Groves made this.
Awesome.
I just love throwing all sorts of art in here along with it. It's
Yeah.
just kind of part of what I love. And yeah, there's some more dwarfs. We get into Castle Nazulgrath once the adventurers might make it there. Maybe they'll die first, who knows? But
Probably. That's fine.
but hopefully not. That's another thing. I got a lot of feedback, and it's kind of funny because it was very split. I got
Hmm.
half the people I ever play games with. They're like, "Man, this is awesome!" With that first book, but I did have a section. It was probably about 10, maybe 15% that said, "Man, this is really difficult, and we're just getting absolutely throttled in these dungeons." So
Yeah.
making sure to play test more, figure out what's going to keep people from getting TPK'd, but
Sure.
also providing a challenge. So, and then we've got, another map there. I don't want to go too in depth on that just because that gives everything away.
Yeah, I like it though.
But
It looks great. Was this Incarnate or was that Dungeon
yeah,
Draft?
that one's incarnate right there.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm
And
a big Incarnate fan. Yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of a lot of area to cover, several different you're going to have several different it's going to last more than one session, that's for sure.
Sure.
um, and then kind of on the back cover, and then also anybody who's backed, or also if you do a late pledge, once we start late pledges, which will probably be sometime in the next week and a half, I'm saying we'll have our late pledges out there along with the pledge manager, so everybody's going to get their PDFs.
Awesome.
But once you actually get your copy of it, you'll also get digital maps that you can print out. And then anybody who backs or does late pledges is also going to get those stretch goals, which will include the card printouts of these maps as well, which will be really awesome.
Oh, that is
Uh,
cool. I like that.
yeah, and this is actually the underground castle fortress with the moat body of water around it, that you can adventure in while you're playing this adventure. So,
Awesome.
and this is another one drawn by Dwayne Rogers,
Yeah.
but it's just like a 34-page, really fun adventure that I wanted to include in the original version, but never got the chance to because I had too many other ideas. So let's
Yep.
make another zine out of it.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? People will just buy it, right? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been super busy with this, making sure that we have Nazulgrath done, and then also making sure that Righteous Vow 3 is every bit of the adventure that everybody hopes for. So this is just a one piece of the greater awesome that's coming coming out, and we've been working on. So but yeah, there's a kind of a high level view of Nazulgrath, quite a bit of art, quite a bit of adventure in there, and just and that's the great thing about it too, is as with any adventure that we put out, sections of it can be borrowed and thrown into other adventures. One location from Righteous Vow 3 could be thrown into your world and ran as like a single adventure for a game day or something if you want to.
Yeah, I
But
think that's awesome. I think a lot of people,
any,
especially in the Shadowdark community, really appreciate that.
yeah,
Whenever I've done stuff, I've always assumed that people were just going to play kind of through the module, kind of more or less as it's written. But the more I do this, the more I found that I think people really do like taking just bits and pieces of these various different modules, and then which like exactly like you said, just plugging them in to their own world wherever they think it might fit. So I think it's awesome.
yeah, absolutely. That's always the aim for us too, is we want our world to be your world. We want our world to be part of your world. There's not really a named Righteous Vow world or anything. It's just
Yeah,
these places, and the kingdom of Ol, and then the kingdom of Doxum, they might show up here and there in other adventures just because they exist in this world, but
sure.
you know
Yeah,
that's
very
part of the
cool.
fun.
Just zooming out a little bit, how long did it take you guys to finish from start to finish on Volume 3?
Volume 3, I started writing in February.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah. So yeah, it's been over 6 months at this point. That's awesome.
yeah. And I mean, it was in a spot where it was done uh before we started the Kickstarter in July.
That's probably good.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't edited yet. There was a lot of things that changed because Wayne and Lori like to they're awesome at what they do.
They broke
Without
out the
them,
red pen for you. Yeah.
oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a really good ideas guy and
Mhm.
getting ideas organized. But even as far as wordsmithing and copywriter, I'm not a copywriter by any means or an editor.
Gotcha.
So they are very patient, understanding, and wonderful editors.
Awesome. And did
But
you want to give them a quick shout out? What's the name of their company?
oh yeah, Big Ink,
Big
and
Ink.
actually, and let's see here. Let me go back to the
Well,
zine here.
if you'd like to, I can put a link to their page in the video description here if you don't mind sending it over. Oh, there it is right there. Awesome.
BigInkWritingServices.com.
Yep.
And Wayne and Lori, they are just absolutely amazing people. And I would say any creator that's looking for an editor, please get a hold of them because they're actually starting to branch out and work with other editors. And they work with a lot of professional a lot of different companies. They've done a lot of product descriptions for like Hay Needle and stuff like that in the
Mm-hmm.
past. So they do a lot of corporate stuff, but they have a lot of fun with this. So
Yeah, that's
if you
awesome.
got an adventure that you want to have edited, get a hold of them because Wayne and Lori are the best. Absolutely.
All right, so Big Ink Writing Services, and I'll make sure to put a link
Yep.
down in the video description if anybody wants to go check that out.
Please do. Please do.
Awesome. Is there anything else you wanted to cover on Nazulgrath before we kind of branched out and did more general topics?
I think I'm good. If you have any other questions, that's cool. But I don't want to go too far into it
Yeah.
because I don't want to give everything away. I just kind of wanted to give a high level view of it, show people that hey, it's done, and that way people can say, hey, cool. Bill's not lying to us. We got an actual book here that's coming.
Yeah, no questions. I don't want to spoil people more than they haven't already. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah,
Like I said, I love dwarves. I love Dwergar. Um
yeah,
and I'm really excited to see this when it comes out. So that's really cool. I
me
You did
too.
mention yeah, I'm sure you are. I don't know. Do you feel this way too? Like at the end of a project, you're just so relieved to have it done, and then like
Yeah.
maybe you take a week or two, and then all of a sudden you've already got ideas for your next thing, and then you're jumping right
Oh,
into
I'm
it.
already writing like
Yeah,
three
yeah,
things right now. It's kind of funny because I'm working really hard to get this done, but the other ideas are like, Bill, work focus on us. And it's like,
yeah.
no, we want to get this done.
That's so
So
funny. Very
yeah.
cool. I was going to ask you. You mentioned a little bit about playtesting earlier. We did have a
Yeah,
question from one of our community members, Arthur Marquez, friend of the channel. He wants to know a little bit more about your playtesting process, and I have some follow up questions when you're done.
absolutely. And that is a wonderful question just because earlier on in the process, with Righteous Vow 1, I did do some play testing
Mm-hmm.
at conventions like at NukeCon and other conventions and smaller play tests in groups and then a little bit online. But I've really tried to branch out on making sure that I play test things before they go out. I absolutely have been play testing. In fact, a lot of what I did at GaryCon this year was play testing. I have a group of friends that we actually use Foundry online for play testing. And it's just, I think it's something that I owe it to the people that are getting my product to make sure that they're not just getting something that I pulled out of my ear, so, so I want to make sure that people are happy with the process, and it's become more important just because if I want to take this seriously, do this as more than just fun and games. I want to make sure that we're doing the job that people want. So definitely something to do. If you're play testing, get together with buddies, get together with friends, get together with people who are going to be critical of your work too. I absolutely want to hear from anybody and everybody who's got a something that I can improve on. It does not hurt my feelings, and in fact, I want to find those people, talk to them, hear exactly what it is that I might be able to improve. In fact, I even went back during this this go around with the first two righteous vows.
Mhm.
And one of the things that people would say is, Bill, I found a typo. Bill, I found this here. You know, why did you call this a manor and not a fortress?
Oh yeah, that was me.
You know, so, so definitely, I'm listening. I'm definitely
Awesome.
listening to everybody who's got something to say about what we're doing. And I always want to be receptive to that because I want to make sure that it's great for everybody who's playing it. And so I went back and they are fortresses now.
Yes.
And
Feedback
so and
received. Awesome.
absolutely, Will, we got you in there, bud. But
Very cool.
yeah, we got a lot of the old typos out of there, some clarifications, some things that were bolded that weren't supposed to be bolded.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the improvements that I'm finding myself making as I become a writer, more of a writer and more of a project manager here is just formatting and things that I didn't think about at first that are it's like, oh yeah, this makes total sense. I should be doing things this way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. Well, I wanted to ask you specifically, was there a particular dungeon or adventure that you've had to revisit multiple times in terms of playtesting?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually one that is gonna be in volume 5 that I
Oh,
am
okay.
working.
Wow, you guys really are testing way out. That's wild. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and in fact, volume 5, I have a dungeon that I'm working on that has a lot of so um I'll just say that it's probably apparent that the first 3 volumes are going to have a lot of combat in them, a lot of adventures with
Hmm.
big battles and you know, they're more combat oriented adventures. They have some traps here and there and some puzzles,
Yeah.
but volume 5 is going to be specifically more tricks and traps and puzzles and that I want to make sure that I get right and play testing that and making sure that things aren't so buried that people can't figure them out and things aren't so obvious that people are going to be like, this is a dumb puzzle, why did you even do that, you know? So, so it's definitely a process and something that needs to happen just because we want it to be good. We want it to be a challenge, but we also don't want to make things so hard that people are like sitting there for hours behind a door saying, I can't figure this out and we're stuck in this dungeon. So
Yeah, puzzles are always really hard because it feels like you either get someone who solves it immediately and there's no challenge and you just move on with your life, or it
yeah,
takes the party the entire session or more and it just really kills the momentum of the evening. So puzzles I think are probably one
absolutely.
of the hardest things to do correctly. So I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with.
Yep. That's and that one especially is going to be special to me because a little spoiler about that adventure and everybody that play tested it with me at GaryCon, because I played through a section of volume 5 at GaryCon last year or this year. I guess it's still this year,
Uh-huh.
but last March. And it just it has a character in it that it was my one of my very first, actually my very first character
That's cool.
in D&D. So and he is now the villain. So
I love that. I love that so much. Um,
yeah.
I've also had a PC that I was DMing for, and I think the first campaign that I ran since I came back after COVID or whatever. And his PC also took the evil route, and at one point we will go back, and he will become the big bad of that particular campaign. I just love when people integrate like their former playing and GMing history into their current world. It just for some reason that just that tickles me. So I always like to see it.
Absolutely. So it holds a place close to my heart for sure, and it's going to be a lot of fun to put that out. But that'll definitely be sometime next year. So
Yeah, for sure. I did want to dig a little bit deeper into the playtesting question here. You
sure.
mentioned a particular dungeon or adventure in Volume 5. Was there like a specific thing that you were having trouble with? And if so, like, how did you approach that problem in order to get it balanced the way that you wanted it to be?
Yeah, absolutely. There were several moments where I would have something happen in one room, and there was a description in there that kind of said something in another room happened,
Mm,
but just adding more of a you see gears turning, you notice that something, it sounds like it's happening beyond the wall, just kind of giving more descriptor that don't leave people guessing, and then
gotcha.
kind of making those obvious. um just because sometimes people can get confused. I pulled this lever and nothing happened. What the heck,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
So
yeah. So just because you as the GM know something's happening, but just reinforcing with players, giving them some sort of visceral feedback that their action had some sort of effect. I think that's really good
yeah,
advice.
and the
Yeah,
other beautiful thing about that is when you play test those things, people, I'm always taking notes, and the original version when I came back had pencil marks all over it,
yeah.
and I went back and retyped in the changes just because all those players had great ideas, and I even took down all their names, and a bunch of them sent me emails afterwards and said, "Oh
Cool.
yeah, don't forget about this," which was really cool because now I get to say, "Hey, thanks to all these people who helped
Yeah.
play test this and develop this into something great." So
Yeah,
it's
and
a
I'm sure
lot of
those
fun.
people will really appreciate seeing their name in the. I'm assuming they're going to be in the credits somewhere, but yeah,
Oh,
whatever. Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's a really cool. That's a really cool feeling. Very, very cool. Well, I think that answers Arthur's question. Arthur, definitely let me know down in the
sure.
comments if there was more that you wanted to know. I'm sure Bill would be able to happy to answer any additional follow up questions on that one. But I wanted to shift
Absolutely.
gears a little bit off of Righteous Vow and talk a little bit about the work you did for Devoured Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I was on Drive Through RPG the other day. My friend and I were going through it. We were kind of going through the top 10 or whatever, as I am wont to do. And I noticed that that one popped up recently. I think it actually just released like in the last couple days. And I was going through. I was like, how did this not hit my radar? And then I actually looked at the list of authors in there. Like, there's like 19 people, and I was like, but that's Bill Harvat. I know him. So I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about that project, and then what your role was on that project.
Absolutely. So just the concept is really cool. It's kind of a jungle crawl that turns into a underground dungeon crawl, with, and it has a lot of layers to it, which makes it really cool. There's different enemies, different storylines in there, and it becomes an extended adventure that has a bunch of mini adventures built into it.
Okay.
And the thing, how I got uh, thrown into the mix there was actually at GaryCon. I met Zach Goins, which that was one of the biggest highlights of going to GaryCon was meeting him, because he has absolutely been instrumental in me learning and expanding upon what I do with Crawl Club Publishing. I cannot say, I don't think I could say enough positive things about Zach. He is a scholar, a gentleman, and all the best things you could possibly say about a person who builds other people up and encourages them
Awesome.
and teaches. Yeah, Zach's that guy. Seriously. I love what he's doing with Limithron, and I love Pirate Borg and everything they're doing. And he got a hold of me after Gary Con, and he's like, "Bill, do you want to be a part of this project and write a couple adventures for it?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, that'd be fantastic." So he said, "Okay, so here you go. You could write about this, you could write about that. What do you want to do?" and and it was kind of pick a map and go. And so I put some ideas together, and it was really a cool exercise for me because
Yeah.
I'm a long-winded mofo, mother trucker.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So I have the gift of gab, as everybody knows. but but when it comes to that, it was, you have to write everything in this many words or less, and you have to have it in like 2 pages and go. So I had to really figure out how to get the information across in not a lot of words, which is not my strong suit, because I love adding story and flavor and
Yeah.
descriptions. And here it's more, let these people figure out what it's going to be. Just give them the information, which is more this shadow dark way. But but I did love it. I got to write 2 adventures in there, and every single one of the adventures in there, I got to read through it, look through it after the fact. I have PDFs of it, and copies are incoming in the mail, I'm sure, very soon because they're fulfilling. So, but everything in there is top notch. A lot of people had ideas in there that I'm like, oh man, I love that idea. I hate you that you thought of it before I did, but but I also love it. So awesome. And there's other ideas. So that's the wonderful thing about being in this creative space is people think of things, and we live in a world of plenty and not a world of lack. So you just get excited about what am I going to think about that somebody else didn't think about. So
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
hopefully I surprise somebody here and there, because there's a lot of creative people out there that surprise me with really excellent ideas, and they get me excited. So
Yeah, absolutely. I was curious if you could talk a little bit about like what kind of guidance you received in terms of requirements for. I assume you were worked on the mini dungeons. Is
yeah,
that correct? Like the two-page mini dungeons? Yeah.
yeah, and it was you got certain monsters that they wanted to show up there.
Interesting.
You got a map that you were given and said, write a story about this map, and then this is the area it's in, this is what's going on there, and
Mm.
then write something interesting about it. And so I was able to write two different adventures. One of them is heavily undead themed, just because I love undead, and of
Who
course I
doesn't?
want to write about undead. And then the other one was about demons and
The classics.
yeah, drow. So
That's
it was
awesome.
yeah. So there are two adventures in there. But that's another book that I get excited about because it has all those little mini adventures in there. And even if you're not going to play the thing all the way through,
Yeah.
there's so many adventures that you could pull out of there for a one shot, or you could just throw into your own campaign. So it's got a lot of versatility that I really like. So I would say anybody that's watching this, go definitely pick it up. And yeah,
Yeah, we'll have a link to it down
our labyrinth.
in the video description if anybody wants to pick up a copy for themselves. That would be awesome. Yeah, I was curious. Like, so I don't. Would you do you yourself purchase a lot of like anthology? Because this feels like like a kind of an anthology kind of collection. I find
Yeah.
myself kind of just I want something very themed, kind
Mhm.
of like Righteous Vow or the default Curse Scroll zines from Arcane Library. And I personally have always really struggled with anthology adventures. So I was surprised to see how popular these have become on Drive Through. I was that you had any insight on
Mhm. Yeah, actually, I don't mind either way. I love getting the end. See, I just end up getting both.
that. You get
That's
everything.
just how I roll. I've still got, and a classic example of that is Goodman Games. They get me twice every time because I always want to get like the individual dungeon crawl classics, and then they come out with the tomes of adventure, and it's like, gosh
Mm,
dang it, I gotta get the book now too.
gotcha.
Or what was it? Zach and Jeff's other book. I just had it. I can't think of the name of it, and it's killing me right now. But they just came out with an anthology of
Yeah, it might be just Shadowdark Adventure anthologies, or is it the Sapphire something?
no, that's the Sapphire Seas was one of Will M.B.'s
Oh, yeah, you're right.
adventures
You're
that
right.
just came out. But I am just brain farting the name of it. Um, but I will think of it here in a little bit. Oh, Gary's Appendix. There we go. I
Oh,
nailed it.
okay. I don't know if I've seen that one.
Took me 5 minutes, but
You're
we got
good.
there.
Gary's
Gary's
Appendix.
Appendix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
And
Shadowdark specifically, or is that like an
no,
OSR?
it's old school essentials actually. But
Gotcha. That's why
I
it's on the
find
radar.
myself all the time pulling from OSC stuff and DCC stuff. Um, Even like the carcass crawler zines,
I've
I
heard of those.
flip
Yeah.
and love those
Yeah.
things. And especially, I think it's volume two. It's got like a quick equipment list. I use that thing all the time, even in Shadow Dark, because it's like, oh, you're making a character. Here's some fun themed, items that you could get, and um, except for it's got hammers in it, so we can't use
Yeah,
that.
yeah. There's no hammers to Shadowdark. Well, there's gonna be. There's. I mean, I think it didn't Kelsey do like a April Fool's Day joke where she made like some sort of mythic hammer artifact or something.
She did.
That's
It was
really
pretty
funny.
hilarious. I
Yeah.
love that. It's like the hammer. It's
All
like
right.
a disappears or something
Yeah,
after
it's got
you.
some sort of quantum thing going on, which is really interesting.
Absolutely.
But I did want to transition into more kind of like general like creator tips.
Sure.
Obviously, Righteous Vow has been super successful, and I think there's a lot of creators and aspiring creators that are watching the channel. So I was wondering if you had any tips for someone who's thinking about doing their first Kickstarter.
Absolutely. Somebody who's doing your first Kickstarter, I would say if you're going to do a Kickstarter, do it. And that's just kind of I think anybody who's a creative in this day and age, the best way to do it is just, there's nothing to it but to do it. You gotta just throw yourself out there and make it happen. Where there's a YouTube, there's a way, right? There, there's
Sure.
another. But I would absolutely say if you are going to do a Kickstarter, find someone, um, whether that is someone who's already done it or someone who is in the process of doing it that you can learn from.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of other creators out there that if you send them a message or you just get in touch with them, they might not be able to get back to you like the same day, but they might be able to get back to you within the same week and give you, okay, you're trying to figure this out. Here's some links that can help you. Here's what I did, and maybe even throw you a paragraph or two about and exactly step by step what they did. And they might not be able to give you that much information, but I was fortunate enough to be able to have a few people with good knowledge bases that I could pull from. Will MB is one of them for sure.
Yeah, he does a ton.
So, and I can never pronounce his last name right, so I always just call him Will MB because
Good
he's my
fair.
buddy. But Will's the best. He has a lot of knowledge about Kickstarter and BackerKit. He was incredibly helpful for me when I started doing my BackerKit for Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he and I kind of did a little bit of a collaboration on Volume 3. And then there was also Zach Goins, and you know, we've got my team, Jeffrey Jones and Zach Goins. Those are so Jeff is also my fulfillment guy. So
Right.
for Volume 3, and just kind of the partnership that I have with those guys, Zach and Jeff, they're amazing people that have taught me a lot. And anything I can do, to promote them and what they're doing, I will absolutely do, just because they're making awesome stuff as well. And that's the other great thing about the Shadowdark community is there's a lot of really great people out there that are like-minded, that want to create really great stuff. They want to make all the things that the community wants because they want to play it too. We're all players. We're
Yeah.
not the I joke around, and I'm sure everybody jokes around. The reason that I'm making these zines is so I can afford everybody else's zines,
Yeah.
because I and back all the other Kickstarters. And I'm like, ooh, I want to play this next. Ooh, I want to play this. Yeah. Ooh, a piece of candy. So,
So yeah, I think that's good
but
advice. Have there? So when you're doing your Kickstarters, so is this the first one that you've done on Kickstarter, or did you also do the
no,
other
this
ones?
is this was my first Kickstarter.
Okay. Okay.
I did
Gotcha.
backer kit the last time,
Okay.
and I was gonna do another backer kit, and then halfway through, I was like, oh, I'm gonna try out Kickstarter
Yeah, just
because
to
I want to
see.
I want to see if it does any better than the backer kit does. And holy smokes. Yeah, it definitely went that extra mile for sure. I was overjoyed, stoked, scared, all the
Yeah, of
feelings.
course. So this could be for Kickstarter or BackerKit, but were there any unexpected issues that you had during the launches of any of those that you wanted to share or talk about?
Well, I mean, there's always unexpected things that you'll have setbacks along the way. Like right now, I'm learning about, my printers. This is the first time I'm not just using print on demand
Yeah.
to do my books. Now I'm actually getting offset prints and stitch sewn binding and ribbon bookmarks put in, and the whole 9 yards, just because I think they're cool. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to make as much money, but I think they're awesome,
You
and
could
I want
charge
people.
more. That is an option.
I know, but I want to charge so much that people are like, I'm not buying that. That's $4,000. So, but it's I want to make it affordable and awesome at the same time, which is hard to do, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
But there's definitely something to say. There's a lot more work and a lot more time that goes into, figuring out how to upload and proof,
Yeah.
your files for the hardbacks, because this printer does it different than my soft cover printer does it. And I have to do another set of cover files, and then,
You
bleeds
have
and
two
slugs.
different printers, one for softback, one for hardback.
Yes, the hardcovers are being done by a different printer. And that's
Gotcha.
just because I wanted to do them all in one place. But for one place, it was like the soft covers were really great price, but the hardcovers had to be printed overseas, and then they
Mm.
became extremely
Yeah.
expensive, like almost twice as much. And then the hardcover place is like, we can do the hardcovers for a lot less, which is awesome. And they're printed here in the United States, which is also awesome. But then our soft covers are twice as expensive. so
Gotcha.
so everything's being printed in the USA. Everything's everything's going to be made at two different printers, but they're all going to be the best quality they can be, and not and I also have to be good stewards of everybody's money. If I run into a place where I'm paying double for this and doing it all at one printer, and then we run out of money, then I'm it's not good for anybody, because everybody wants their books. So
Yeah, sure.
so
Can
I
you
got to
talk a little
go.
bit about the fulfillment process? I think you mentioned that you had someone handling that side for you. Are they going to be like keeping it on site at their house, or like do they have a warehouse? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, they have warehouse space, and I'm gonna have pallets, and I'm actually, it's just like anything else. I'm paying to have rental space in their warehouse,
Yeah.
in order to house those books as they sell, and as they get shipped out. So the beautiful thing about this process, and also kind of betting on myself, betting on our team, is that we treated this Kickstarter as kind of a fundraiser to overprint. So as of today, my artists have been paid, my editors have been paid. I've made bagel dollars so far, but hopefully we'll get there. I'm overprinting. I'm gonna try and get in touch with, and that's gonna be another part of this process. Friendly local gaming stores that would want to get a bundle of books and have it at their store, finding hopefully a wider audience of people that want to purchase the book off of our website once the Kickstarter is done, and just having those extra copies to get out there, so that way when we go to volume 4 and volume 5, we can put those as add-ons in the Kickstarter or in other people's Kickstarters. So fulfillment, that's going to all be a part of what RPG Ramblings, and Jeffrey Jones, he is the man. He's my fulfillment specialist, champion of the world. That's his official title.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got his warehouse, and he packs and ships everything. Volume 1 and 2, I did everything out of my basement and my garage.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the wife is really glad that I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, I can
um,
understand.
and this way I can focus on being more of the project manager role and the writer. I'm really enjoying that, and in fact I'm taking on more of a project manager role, because I'm going to be producing some a DCC adventure in the near future that is being written by my friend Marcelo. And he is currently, we just actually play tested that last Saturday, so
Cool.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Awesome.
But yeah, ever expanding, ever growing, just kind of leaning into that. And I mean, I lean into Kelsey's knowledge and wealth of sharing how she does things, and then looking at others who have succeeded, like the Goodman Games business model of creating a great product and then also giving the PDF away for free. That's how I want to roll. So
Yeah, giving away the PDF for free when they buy a physical copy, right?
yeah,
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 absolutely.
yeah. I don't want
Yeah,
any
if
people getting crazy ideas out here, okay? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, we've already actually, God bless Than Gibson too, because he
Mm,
found some of my PDFs on some website somewhere that people were sharing out. He's like, they had Dark Space up there and they had the Righteous Vow ones up there. We got them taken down, but
That's good.
he was like, that was like hundreds of sales. I was like, oh well,
Yeah, yeah.
gotta
Part of
steal
me
it.
wonders if those people were
Bummer.
going to buy anyway, but it's not definitely. I don't encourage it. So hopefully that doesn't
Yeah.
happen to you again in the future.
It is what it is, but
Yeah,
hopefully people got that PDF and said, hey man, I need a physical copy of this book now.
yeah.
That's what you hope anyway, but
So I
it's all
wanted to
good.
talk a little bit about so yeah, we've been talking about, in my opinion, Rice Vow has been extremely successful. I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about some of the sales numbers and like revenue around Righteous Vow Volume 1 and 2, if you have that on hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm gonna go to where I messaged it to you. 'Cause
Yes, it's all pre-planned, people. I wanted to
yeah.
make sure I didn't spring any finance-related questions on somebody in the middle of an interview without them being prepared. So
Oh
now
no,
you
it's
see
all good.
behind the curtain. Yeah.
Sorry, you can cut that out
No,
if you
you're
want.
fine. I think it's actually funny this way.
All good. But yeah, I don't mind sharing that at all because it's all part of the learning process and
Yes.
growing and figuring
Yes.
things out. It's kind of fun to look back at it. We've got 2,176 sales on Drive Through RPG,
That's for
and
volumes 1 and 2 combined.
yeah, that's one and
Okay.
two
Yeah,
combined.
that's awesome. That's so
And
good.
that's not including anything that's sold offsite though,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So I imagine we're in looking at the numbers, we've got about 3,000 copies that were sold between, we've got Black Blade Publishing out at Gary Con that's
Oh,
selling our
cool.
books, and then at North Texas Con, um, John and Grodog have been amazing to work with. Those guys are absolutely the best, helping out small publishers getting their books seen and purchased at these events. But then also in friendly local gaming stores that I've worked with and events, conventions, but and then just on our website sales, which is always the best way to get the book, is just buy it from us directly, please.
Yeah.
But we get to keep a bigger chunk that way.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, we're at about 5,000 copies. And just
That's
looking
awesome.
at, yeah, the grand totals. Yeah, and I'm very happy just because I didn't know what this was gonna do. I
Yeah.
was just
You
like,
never have
let's
any
have
idea.
fun. So it goes to $15,747.97, and that's the gross. Or and then after drive through gets their cut, that comes to $6,990.96.
Yeah,
So
that sounds about right.
yeah, so I mean, they take their chunk, but
Yeah.
it's still worth it. They absolutely earn every dollar, I feel like, of their 30%, because any returns you get, I still feel like drive through is a great resource for
Yeah.
anybody getting started.
100%.
So no complaints there.
Not even
Being
a
able,
couple? Not even their print on demand? I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
we can talk about
Yeah.
quality. We can talk about the fact that you can't actually access your audience, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But that's why I would hope anybody that gets on there also joins my mailing list.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
We'll make sure to put a link to your website down in the video description as well, so people can go head over
yeah,
there.
and absolutely, not only because it's great to have everybody that's reading our content on that mailing list, but also because here in December for Christmas or for Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you might celebrate,
Hmm.
um, we're going to have a free adventure that's going to be given out just through our mailing list, so everybody
Awesome.
can get that faux free dollars, which will be a lot of fun. And that's going to be a prequel to Volume 5, so everybody's going to want that.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. Um, yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, so can you talk a little bit about your mailing list, like what programs you use to manage that, if you use anything special?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The ones that I'm using right now mainly is actually some of the coolest things is, the Kickstarter and BackerKit, all those audiences. I leave those on there and just send out messages on there, but you've
Hmm.
got basically all of your customers from BackerKit and Kickstarter, and that's probably like one of the biggest and best ways to reach an audience is go to the people who are following you and purchasing your stuff on there
Yeah,
and helping you to crowdfund. But I also use GoDaddy, and they have a mailing list built in with my website,
gotcha.
uh, which I built my own website on there using that GoDaddy Arrow, which is like the most simplest web designer in the world.
Hmm.
And it comes with a mailing list program in there that, you know, you can access everybody's email. Your
Yeah.
mailing list is yours. So it's super simplified, but it works. So I just keep using it.
Hey, that makes sense to me. I'm a big believer in keeping things simple, especially when you're first starting out. I think a lot of people try to make things too complicated when they're first starting, and they get really overwhelmed with the amount of stuff, and they just never end up
Oh, yeah.
actually finishing anything, which is I think is really sad. So hearing someone say like, "Yeah, I just keep it as simple as possible and I go with the default software," I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that
Yeah.
at all.
It
Yeah.
goes back to the saying, my favorite project is the one that's done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What is it? Perfect is the enemy. Perfect is the enemy of the finished or the good or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure I butchered it,
exactly.
but I think people get the idea. I wanted to go back to the numbers for Righteous Vow. Do you have any numbers around expenses at all? Like, do you track that or do you talk about those?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I've got a spreadsheet going right now
Yeah.
for, um, and I guess I could share some of that. I don't. I mean, if people want to know,
I mean,
it,
I'm very interested. I'm sure there are other people that are interested as well. Yeah.
yeah. So it's funny because we had a 34,700 some odd dollar Kickstarter, which I never dreamed it'd get that high. I
That's
was
awesome, by the
over
way. That's
the
so great.
moon. Yeah, over the moon with that. It
Yeah.
was it was outstanding. But you pay your artists, you pay your
Yes.
editors, you pay for just the stretch goals, which the Paladin Hollow stickers. I was gonna kind of cheap out and go with the smaller stickers, but I was like, nah, we're going with the big ones. So I got I got the bigger stickers because I didn't want to cheap out, and those cost a pretty penny as well. But you start at 34. After all the taxes and fees come out, you're left with around 30, and then getting hardbacks printed, that was about 11. The soft covers themselves, and we're overprinting too, so
Yeah.
this is for extra copies as well that hopefully we'll sell later. But I will say that we're spending about 8 on the soft covers. We're spending probably about another 2,000 on the stretch goals. So I mean, you look at all that, and we're getting close to that $30,000
Yeah.
already when we're paying everybody. So that's why I've still made $0 because I make sure. I know they always say pay yourself first, but I'm I am I always want to make sure that I take care of my people first.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense to me.
and that's just one of the things that I want to do. So and I'm hopeful and thankful that I have an audience, hopefully that helps promote me and gets me into new households and new gamers' hands, so that way we can keep this thing going. So everything that we've done so far, I've not a lot of the money hasn't been spent yet, but it's accounted for,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then once we actually start selling the copies outside of what we've printed here, that's when we're going to be like, yay, gravy,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
yeah, we're
Um,
absolutely using those dollars to grow, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was going to ask you if you had any unexpected expenses this time around that maybe help other people who might be doing this in the future.
Well, yeah, and it kind of went into me wanting to make things more awesome because I actually upped my art budget this time.
Yeah. So
um,
from what your original budget was, you upped it after the fact.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and that was because I wanted to have in the second volume, I had like a two panel like full spread piece of art.
Yeah.
I didn't have one of those in volume 3, and then I was like, you know what? I really want one. So I went ahead and said, Andrew, do you like money? He was like, yeah, Bill, I like money. I was like, well, I like art. So
That's
and
awesome.
everybody else benefits. So there you go. But it's just, those value added things that
Yeah.
hopefully people, when they get this in their hands, are going to be like, wow, this was worth it. So, and then hopefully it'll help sell the book even more. But everything that I do, if it's gonna cost money, I do also feel that responsibility too, and I don't want to get out in front of my skis. Is that what, is that it? But
If it's not the right term, it should be. So I think we're gonna go with it. Yeah.
yeah, your head gets in front of your skis and bad things happen,
Uh huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
That's I've only been skiing like twice in my life, so
Gotcha.
I'm not the guy to ask, but yeah, definitely the responsibility is felt, and I want to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence to make sure that we put out something that's of the best quality we can and gives everybody a positive experience, and yeah, make sure we deliver. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And I know for a fact that what you guys are doing is working because every single time I see a thread pop up on Discord or Reddit or Facebook, anytime somebody asks, like, what adventure should I be running for Shadowdark, Righteous Vow is inevitably like the second or third thing that I see on the list. So I think that's a good metric for knowing you guys are on the right track.
Absolutely. And it just it blows my mind, just the positivity of this community, just the extreme uh just wealth of knowledge out there that is there to be shared, the kindness from Kelsey, and even from Michael
Yeah.
Putlock has been extremely kind and generous with his time and his efforts in promoting us. And there's just so many names, and I'm forgetting people here left and right, and I should remember them. But just everybody is like Adrian, you, Will, seriously, and even Siren, and I'm probably
Box
screwing his
off.
darn name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I Fox Off is the man. And there's been so many people along the way that have helped promote this thing, and just the word of mouth. That's the other thing is like, I'm talking to my buddy Zach, Mr. Zach Goins,
hmm
champion of marketing. That's his official title, just so you know.
hmm
Um, champion of marketing, Limithron. And if it's not, Luke should make that his title. But and he's actually working with a marketing budget, which I'm going to start doing in our next. I did this with word of mouth and saying, "Hey, everybody, can you help promote us? Because we'll promote you back."
yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love to do, is that word of mouth. I made sure that every time we had an update on Kickstarter, I was like, "Hey, my buddy Will's got a project. Here it is. Go back it. Hey, Zane and Bunny are putting out Druskara. Go check it
Yeah,
out because it's
I just saw the
outstanding."
interview with Adrian on Dungeons and Dyslexia yesterday. Looks like a cool project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'll tell you what, that is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's not this next Monday, but the following Monday we're going to
hmm
be on Adrian's live play for that, and I get to play
Nice.
it, so I'm really excited. And
Gotcha.
I will say that Zane hooked me up with a advanced copy of it. I've seen
Oh,
it. It is incredible.
awesome.
The art in it is stupendous. The layout is so well done. It's a beautiful book. And there's a lot of awesome content in it. So Drew Scara, check that out for sure. And another one, Zach Goins' Raptor Rampage that he's doing right now.
hmm
It's a Morkborg hack that's like Jurassic Park on steroids.
Yeah, I think I saw it. Yeah.
So I backed that right away. That thing's awesome. So I was just promoting everybody else because, you know, it's just really cool to see the attitude of, high tides raise all ships that we've got in this community, and having that mindset of we live in abundance, and there's a bunch of great creators out there, but there's also a bunch of great gamers out there that want good content. So
Yeah.
you can help promote each other and build each other up. It's amazing.
Yeah, I have to
So
say Shadowdark is a pretty great community. Unless you break one of the fundamental sins of the OSR, and then they'll come after you. But other than that, I think they're pretty
oh,
good.
I've broken at least 5 or 6, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is what it is. But before we transition off the topic of like creator advice, do you have any other random creator advice you wanted to throw out there before we move topics?
Yeah, don't necessarily listen to me, because any any idea I have of probably I'll do it wrong the first 5 times, and then I'll figure out the way to do it the right way. but yeah, that's the other thing. Don't be scared of being wrong, because
Yeah.
you're gonna fail, but you're gonna eventually figure it out and do it right, and hopefully it won't cost you too much money to make that failure.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what people are
So
worried about for sure. But I think it's also important to let people know, like, you can start doing this basically for free, if you really want to. You can get a template for free. You can get, there's a lot of very cheap or free like public domain art that you can use if you can't afford to hire an artist right away. So there's definitely a way to get started without spending a ton of money.
absolutely, and I would say, um, anybody that has access to Word or Google Docs can
Yeah,
do this.
for sure.
There's templates out there for that. It is so accessible to create your own content now, and making something that's good, and finding go out there and just ask artists, say, hey, do you want to create something with me? That's what I did at the beginning. I found guys that I was like, man, this is incredible. Do you want to help me create something? And I believe that was the words that I got out of their mouths was, wow, other people asked me, but nobody actually did anything with the art.
Yeah,
You're the first one to follow through. So I guess it's just work ethic, stubbornness, and determination, fueled by tacos. That's how we roll.
makes sense to me. All right, so I did want to ask you. So I know that you do play other folks' Shadowdark adventures. I was
Oh
curious
yeah.
if there were any standouts that you had that you played recently or that you were really interested in playing that we hadn't mentioned so far that you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah. There's definitely a lot. In my I have a Keep on the Borderlands group that meets monthly at our FLGS. It's our Shadow Dark monthly group.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been going through not only Keep on the Borderlands, but I've created a hex map that has other Shadow Dark and
Cool.
different modules. Like this hex is this module, and this
Yeah,
hex is this module, and it's really fun because we'll go through it, and then I'll hold it up, and I'm like, this was this module, and you just played it, and they're like, oh, that's awesome,
that's
So,
funny.
but we just did um we just did Trial of the Slime Lord, was one
Okay.
of
Yeah,
the
it's Jordan
early
Rudd,
ones.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was such a great gauntlet. So that was one of the first ones we did, to get a bunch of new players, because we started out and we had like, 5 or 6 people, but now it's like I think we had 11 people at the table last month, which was pretty crazy. We
That's
had like,
crazy. That's too much. What is that about? How did that happen?
oh, it's just people are having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And putting that many tables together, and seeing who survives is a great time.
Is it
So
one GM for 11 players? Is that what you guys are
yeah,
doing?
yeah, I ran
That's
for 11
crazy.
people. So, but there's people who do our Wednesday night group. I
Uh-huh.
play in an AD&D Osric group
Yeah.
on Wednesday nights, and we sometimes get up to 14, which is kind of crazy. And sometimes we split into two groups, which is
Yeah.
also fun. But
Gotcha.
yeah, and then it's kind of a balance too. Sometimes, usually I like to do between 6 and 8, and even 5 is like, I think 5 is probably like the sweet spot. But I do a lot of between 6 and 8, which
Hmm.
is a lot of fun. It's always good to have people who are enthusiastic and having fun. And I think that is just a testament to what Kelsey has created here with Shadow Dark, because if I was doing that in 5e or
Yeah, that would be miserable.
Pathfinder or any of these other systems, it would be such a chore. I would not even want to attempt it. But because Shadow Dark has the crawling rounds and the system that's there of, you do a thing, you move, or
Yeah.
you move to do a thing, um, it really opens up the ability to manage that for a DM. And that's just exactly the reason why so many people want to run this at conventions, or play this in their group, because you don't have to dive into 9,000 pages of rules in
Yes.
order to run the game. So
Yeah, I think Shadowdark's biggest strength is definitely its accessibility. You can get a character up and running in a matter of seconds. You can teach somebody how to play and like really quickly. So yeah, I think it is a really well designed game, especially for for getting people up and running very very quickly. So that's awesome. I was going to ask you though, because so it sounds like you play with a lot of what I would consider to be a lot of players very frequently. I'm curious if, because I think you also mentioned earlier in the video that some people found that some of the modules or some of the parts of the modules were too difficult. I wonder if they're running with much smaller groups, like 3 to 5, which is what I would typically run something with.
Right. And I design everything around 5 players, and
Yeah.
I've said that before.
Hmm.
Um, I design it around 5 players, one wizard, and one cleric. And that's kind of that
Yeah.
way you're gonna have that fireball here and there once you get to that level, or you're gonna have healing that's gonna
Yeah.
take care
You're
of
gonna have
something.
cure wounds. Yeah.
Yeah, or you're gonna have turn undead in the cases. Once you've got a cleric in volume one with turn undead, it gets a little less scary.
Yeah. Turn undead's a really really powerful spell for sure.
But once it doesn't work, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
But yeah, it's definitely a balance. I think that a lot of what I write for is that 5 person group, and
Mhm.
that's something that I've told to anybody who does come to me with those grievances or about you made this too hard, Bill. What are you doing?
Mhm.
Is that I tell them, you don't have to put 2d6 skeletons in here. It can be 2d4.
Yeah.
That's part of being a GM
Yeah.
is gauging the group that you're working with. And maybe you're not playing with 5 players. You can definitely downgrade the die. Or if it's going to be 15 of something, you can just say 2d6 or 2d4 of something, and that's totally fine. I love to be as accurate as I can be, but I also can't gauge what your group is like.
Yeah.
So, being a GM, it's always great, especially in the OSR where nothing's completely balanced because we've got so much swing in those dice.
Yeah,
But
the low
I
hit
welcome people. Please change what I'm doing.
yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, the low hit point totals for sure. But it is easy to make a new character, so it is what it
Yeah.
is. I was going to ask you though. So you mentioned Trial of the Slime Lord is one that you've tried recently and you enjoyed. Are
Yep.
there any other standouts that you've had recently that you've enjoyed?
Absolutely. It's a Sursa Victory module.
Tomb of the Dust
I'm
Queen.
trying. Yep, that's
Yeah.
the one. Yep. Tomb of the Dust Queen was one we just ran as well. I absolutely love that. I own all the Sorcerer Victory modules, and in fact, the cool thing, I've got it in my office. I backed his last one at one of the tiers where he like wrote me a postcard with a magic item on it, which was
Oh,
kind
that's
of cool.
cool. Yeah, I like
I did
that.
I did the extra to kind of show my support of him because he does really great work.
Yeah.
I love what he's doing. And then, going back to some of the old Goodman Games modules, I like to throw some of the older modules in there too.
Yeah, I think that's good.
One that I holds a special place in my heart is Dungeon Crawl Classics number 3, The Mysterious Tower,
Okay, I've not heard
which
of that one.
if my group is listening, do not go read that one because that might be what we're going into on the 27th of September when we have our game day.
Uh-huh,
So,
uh-huh.
but yeah, it's just a lot of fun taking Shadowdark and the West Marches feel of the game and then taking old modules and plugging those into your world. So that's a lot of fun to do. Um, and let's see, what's another one that I want to do or have done? I'm just trying to think. I've run a lot of my stuff, but we're talking about others. Um, I know that I really want to get some of the Dark Vision stuff put into my world. That's going
Okay,
to be something here soon. So Zach and Jeff's stuff from Dark Visions is going to be in a future episode or game day.
cool.
And then my Monday night group that I do on Foundry, we've been doing, and it's another DCC, but we've been going through Janelle Jacques's Dark Tower,
Oh, cool.
and
I haven't done that
that's
one. I've heard of Caverns with Thracia, but I haven't heard of that one.
yeah, it's a super fun dungeon crawl. It's like a big mega dungeon, um, and it's got multiple levels, and it's got a lot of zaniness and wackiness, and some of the magic items are so just out there, and converting them is kind of a little difficult at times,
Yeah.
just because it's like, oh, okay, we're moving it from DCC over to Shadowdark. But if you use a little creativity, you can do it. Sometimes this doesn't work for 5 days. It might work for 5 rounds, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, no,
But
makes sense. Cool. I think that's a really solid list. I appreciate you sharing that with people, and I'll if I remember, I'll put links down to those in the video description so people can go check those
totally.
out for themselves. But I was curious to know, like, what do you think makes for a good published adventure specifically for Shadowdark?
I think that for a good published adventure, I think one of Shadowdark's strengths is its readability, and the ability to ingest the information and then play it, or get that information to a GM, so that way they can take it and run with it. And just making the usability at a level where a GM can take it, read it in a night, or read it in, sit down maybe once or twice with it, and have the general idea of, oh, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
The rest is just going to fill in the holes. That I think is a strong suit of Shadow Dark, and a strong suit of the way that Kelsey and others in this community write adventures. And that's hard for me at times too, especially because I'm a long-winded mofo, like I said. But I do love being able to communicate what needs to be communicated, and give people the ability to know what they're doing without having to dive into 4,000 pages of whatever.
Yeah,
So
100%.
uh,
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think one of the main
yeah,
strengths of the OSR is, like you said, in the readability, the format, the accessibility. Not having to read through. You maybe don't even have to read through the entire adventure before you run it. You just kind of a lot of them you just kind of sit down and run, just having read the
yep,
first couple pages. So I think that's awesome. Um,
yeah, and that's kind of fun too. You can read kind of the summary and the objectives, and then surprise yourself at times. It's like, oh, we're doing that. That's fun.
yeah, yeah, and I think that is something I've heard people mention this, like the benefit of kind of more sandboxy or OSR play is that the GM is just as surprised as the player is a lot of times with the outcome of certain events. So I think that's a really interesting perspective.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I've heard you mention that you play DCC, Dungeon Crawl Classics, and
Oh yeah,
obviously you
love
play
it.
Shadowdark. Are there any other systems that are like favorites for you?
I'm a real big fan of Mothership right now.
Okay.
Um, Mothership is a lot of fun. I love the little zines of adventures. I think that's really well written. I'm a big fan of Dark Space, and I think that that's already started to become something cool,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna grow into something cooler. I'm looking forward to December, when Than gives us a full uh, larger version of the rules, and I may or may not be writing something right now that's going to be released in December right alongside
Ooh.
of it,
Okay. Well,
adventure wise. So I'm
exciting.
excited for um and yeah, I really like Osric. Osric makes AD&D accessible, and
Yeah.
I I think that Matt Finch does a great job with that. I love it. I play Osric, and I backed the Kickstarter that just came out for the Osric version 3. Um, so yeah, that's mainly what I do, is just play AD&D and Shadow Dark, and if I want sci-fi, I'll either play Dark Space or Mothership. So there we go.
Awesome. Very cool. Are there any new systems that are coming out, have just come out, or are coming out in the near future that you're excited to try out?
See, that's the thing. Like, I see all these new systems come
Yeah.
out, and I go, I only have the bandwidth for these, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't mind trying them. There's a lot of systems that I've given a shot. Like, even with the new version of 2024
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons, I probably played twice, 2 games of 2024 D&D,
Yeah.
and I haven't really been back. I probably played 1 game of 2004 or 2014
Yeah.
D&D since I broke off. And it's kind of like, I've already got my sword and sorcery world or rule set that works, so
Hmm.
I don't really need to go there. But I mean, I do like, especially with the sci-fi versions and what is it, Savage Worlds that I've been playing with Adrian. That's a good time.
Oh,
You know,
cool.
I think that system's pretty cool. And that
Yeah.
just playing on Adrian's channel, he does those live streams and I get to do those on Fridays with him here and there.
Are you
And
playing this
get
Friday?
this Friday I'm actually running it.
Okay, well then I will be in your game.
Awesome. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. We're gonna have this Friday on Dungeons and Dyslexia. We
Uh-huh.
will have the Righteous Vow Volume 3 adventure. So you'll get to be one of the first to play the finished version of this adventure.
That's very
So
exciting. Are you running Nazulgrath? Or are you running a different one?
I'm I'm not running Nazulgrath. I'm
Okay.
gonna run one of the adventures out of Volume 3.
Okay. Okay.
So that'll be something exciting. And it's actually, I did do another adventure from Volume 3 on Tabletop Bob a while ago.
Oh,
This is
nice.
a different one. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's
so
awesome.
this is,
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I love the variety of different things there are out there to play. Oh, I would say X Crawl, but that's also, you know, basically Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Yeah.
That one's fun. I played that at Gary Con. I've heard a lot of really good things about different systems like Hyperborea, and there's a couple of other sword and sorcery style
Tales of
games.
Argosa, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Blades in the Dark and some of those.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did what's it called? Cairn. I got the box set of the new edition of that,
Cool.
and I really want to dive into that, but I haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah, you're busy.
But yeah, it's one of the things where it's like as soon as volume 3 is done, I can open this up and read it because you don't want to like cross ideas with somebody else. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I understand that. Yeah, there's. I mean, I think it's unavoidable. There's going to be some level of overlap, but yeah, I
For sure.
understand why you wouldn't want to be influenced by other people's stuff as you're in the middle of writing.
Yeah, I especially because you don't want to like accidentally do it, and then somebody's like, "Hey, you totally stole that from me," and you're like, "Oh yeah, no."
Yeah,
I'd
no, I
rather just
understand.
avoid that. But
Gotcha. Well, we're coming up on an hour and a half here, so I think probably
sure.
about time to wrap stuff up. I was wondering if there was anything else that you wanted to talk about before we kind of close things down.
Well, I've been talking your ear off for an hour and a half now, so I don't. Um, I don't know. I think just thank you to the entire Shadow Dark community for embracing us, the Crawl Club Publishing team. You know, Andrew and Dwayne and Uriah and Laura and um, um, Wayne and Lori. Sorry, I called her Laura. It's Lori, but I've known Wayne and Lori the longest out of everybody there. Um, but the whole team, everybody who's a part of this project is it's really an honor to get to create for the Shadow Dark community and for everybody that supports what we're doing. And hopefully we're doing a good job to earn your trust to make really great content and continue to do so. So just a huge thank you to you, Will, and anybody who talks about us to a friend or gets a new person enjoying Righteous Vow and Shadow Dark in general. I just am excited to be a part of this community. I'm running Shadow Dark at NukeCon here in October 4th, 5th, and 6th, and that's going to be at the Mid America Center.
Hmm.
So if you go to nuke-con.com, you can sign up to play games with me if you want to come to
Awesome.
to come to Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha?
Actually,
Okay.
yeah,
That's a bit
yeah,
far out for me, but I wish you guys the best of luck on those games. Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna have a blast playing some games and rolling dice. But that's I'm also please do check on Gary Kahn's website. I do have my games coming, and they're in the schedule. So I will be running games at Gary Con again next year, and I'm also going to be running at North Texas RPG Con. So I'm going to be at both of those conventions next year. So please come see me, come say hi. Please do approach me, come talk to me. I will sign your book. I will talk to you about whatever nerdy, awesome stuff you want to talk about because that's how I roll. So always
Awesome.
love to hang with people and roll dice with you. So.
Very cool. So where do you want people to find you if they want to see more of your stuff?
Absolutely. Crawlclub.com. So if you just go to crawlclub.com, you'll be able to see everything that's going on. Here in the next week or week and a half, we're going to have our late pledges up for Righteous Vow Volume 3. So if you were a person who did not get in on the Kickstarter, may have missed it, you can definitely jump on there, pick up your the entire 3 books if you want. You can get 1 book, whatever you want to add on. And anybody who pledges as a late pledge also is going to get access to those exclusive Kickstarter extras, which includes the art prints, the maps, and the exclusive Paladin sticker. So you're going to get all those extras and all the digital extras as well if you back. If you just do a digital back, though, you don't get the physical stuff. I had to make that clear. So sometimes people are like, "I just got a PDF. Am I getting all this?" No, but you'll get digital versions of that.
Yeah.
I'm also working on some VTT tokens to throw in there so
Very
people
cool.
can enjoy those. But definitely doing as much value as we can to throw in there. So people are like, yeah, I got all this cool stuff.
Awesome. Very
So,
cool. All right. Well, thanks, Bill. I really appreciate you coming on.
yeah,
Hopefully, we can do this again in the near future.
absolutely, Will. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. And you're the man. Thanks, man.
Thank you. I'll see you later. Bye.
Later, bud.